Welcome one, welcome all to the North. This is Toronto, Ontario, where a setting of significance awaits as we land on the MLS NEXT Pro season's penultimate page. At nightfall in match week 29, it's a pair of teams compelled by circumstance brought together tonight. The bell tolls for Toronto FC 2 and Philadelphia Union 2. The best bit, live and in color for you this evening. Howdy, folks. I'm Peyton Gallagher, and Ryan Richter leads his team, Philadelphia Union 2, to Toronto for the first time this year. Playing third installment of this clash of teams, the prior two meetings taking place in Philadelphia. And it's a pair of circumstances on opposite ends of the playoff field that have the attention this evening, as Philadelphia Union 2 have a real chance of pushing for the 1 seed. Toronto FC 2 and Gianni Cimini will use this starting 11 as they are vying for one of the two available playoff spots in the Eastern Conference field. Adaze De Rosario, he'll be in the back. Adisa De Rosario, I should say, in goal with his 7 clean sheets on the year. He has been wonderful in the net for Toronto FC 2. It is a pairing of Daquan Barrow as well as Sullivan leading the line. Of course, Anton Bossenberry has been so good at the front ends of this attacking picture in midfield for Toronto in recent weeks and months. He had a goal and an assist against this very same Philadelphia Union 2 side that comes up in a 4-2-2 today. CJ Only will be a big part of that midfield for the road side, pairing Nick Periano in there. This is a team that likes to press. They like to be vertical. They like to be in your face. And Sal Olivas will help lead the line coming into today. The big 6'3" striker on 5 goals for the year, making his 23rd appearance. A relatively unchanged side for Philadelphia today, as the only real big shift is Oscar Benitez stepping in at center back today. George Marks makes another start in goal after just recently joining the club. It is a big one set to unfold as we hear the playing of the national anthems.
the starting lineup for your Toronto FC2. In goal, number 77, Adisa De Rosario. Defender, number 98, Stephen Kapoor. Defender, number 58, E. Taro. Defender, number 72, Mark Fisher. Defender, number 85, Marco Stojadinovic. Midfielder, number 25, Nathaniel Edwards.
Toronto FC 2, Philadelphia Union 2. Nose to nose with only 2 games left to play. It will be decision day next time these two teams take the field. That's next weekend. In the here and now, it's an all-important 3 points on the line. Much to play for both of these teams as Toronto FC 2 currently finding themselves just above the playoff line, in control of their own fate. Philadelphia Union 2 3 points off the pace at the top of the table as they look up at New York Red Bulls 2, hot on their heels and in much need of victory today. There are clinching scenarios afoot for both of these teams over the long course of the weekend. For Toronto FC 2, things can't be determined tonight, but they can set in motion the course of events required for the home team to seal their playoff future with a win, and Atlanta only able to get a point on the road at Chicago this weekend, or fewer than that. And New York City FC 2, if they do not claim victory, it will almost assure Toronto FC 2 with a win tonight, and those subsequent results falling in their favor can see themselves back in the postseason. Philadelphia can assure a top 4 seed if they are to secure anything in this game. Only the single points is what is required. They are in the yellow, Toronto FC 2 in the red. As mentioned previous, these two teams have seen each other twice before this year. A ferocious Philadelphia win in the first installment. Toronto able to secure an extra point in the shootout in the most recent. And we are underway here from the Great White North. Once more, Peyton Gallagher with you to bring the breadth and width of 90 minutes that will be raucous and rambunctious, and the ball is straight out of play for a goal kick. Nicholas Melita is the center official today. And Philadelphia Union 2 will build from the back. This is a Union 2 side that are second in the league in terms of their measured verticality. The average travel of their pass forward is the second highest in the league, totaling just about 7.5 yards per attempt. And they are straight to the front foot straight away. Olivas playing wide. Not tidy enough on the ball. And Daquan Barrow is twisting free of tension. Toronto settle into their spell in possession. Stojadinovic spraying wide. We've seen him deployed in a myriad of roles today for Gianni Cimini in the base of that midfield. And it will be a 3-5-2. We've seen Toronto FC 2 use a couple different systems, but almost universally with 3 at the back. Philadelphia Union 2, their identity carved in granite. They know how they want to play. It will be that 4-2-2 type of look, which they will crowd numbers into the attacking half of the field with and without the ball, as they do here. And it's a strong touch away from trouble. And spraying wide. Hassan Ayari. 10 goal contributions for him on the year. 6 goals, 4 assists. Putting together another strong campaign, much as he did a year ago. And he finds a man in a soft spot. Barrow has a go. The goal is open. Man cut down in the area. And no call given. Daquan Barrow had a look. It looked like Nate Edwards had a second bite. But Toronto FC2 missed with a chance to land the first flush blow of the contest. Nothing more than nearly, but Toronto FC2 certainly playing with the desperation and urgency of a team that has it all to play for. Darted upfield and latched on to Hassan Ayari. Stepping, dazzling. Ayari has his shot blocked. Stojanovic. And clutching onto it are Philadelphia on the run now. Break brewing. Salalivas. Wide man for company. And ripped down and foul given. It's at the right kind of tempo so far. Knotted on a touch. It was Oscar Benitez who flew in with the cover, and it's taken a Toronto deflection out. What appears to be a Philadelphia throw. Toronto will pick and choose their moments to get forward with their press. Easing off the ball here. First pass deflected away. Second one is spread into the path of Marcus Anderson, who enters the final third and now enters the box. With the red shirts in front of him and ripped back by Toronto FC2. Issa De Rosario clearing the lines. Putting the ball in harm's way. It skipped off Nate Edwards and out for a Philadelphia throw. Nothing will be easy in that first phase of build-up today. Philadelphia, one of the best pressing sides at MLS level. That remains true in MLS NEXT Pro. Ryan Richter in his first season in charge of this program. Marlon LeBlanc doing such a good job the last couple of years. Nothing has shifted in terms of what this team represents in terms of class in the league. This is neat and clean from Toronto and accelerating and still driving. Sullivan spreading wide to Ayari, and pouncing to it was George Marks. It felt like he needed to intervene as there were plenty of Toronto FC2 players circling. Stas Korzeniowski, who's made a big impression this year to the tune of 6 goals. Since centrally only. And at the end line, able to catch himself as Jordan Griffin. Goal kick. Issa De Rosario. De Rosario compiling over 40 appearances the last 2 years, and his goals under serious examination. Foul is given. Anton Hadjiski and Rita Fazia are the AR1 and AR2 with official Fabrizio Stassola. Once more, it's Nicholas Melita that will have the whistle in hands. And you should take note of one Philadelphia Union 2 loose the hounds in the press. Here's early on, anytime the ball goes to the wide center backs, the first spell of build-up play, That's when they really start to descend in numbers, as they do here. Side to side, rhythmic in the build from Toronto FC2. Picking their way through the first wave, and now Nate Edwards at the touchline. A heavy touch from him, in fact. The collision sends him toppling. Itillo, the experienced center back. Strong and sturdy in the middle, 22-year-old for Toronto FC2, and he will have work to do here. Driving into the area, Marcus Anderson with a roll. At the top of the box. Twirling into a shot! That scrapes wide, and it's with no assistance from the goalkeeper. Goal kick. Those alarm bells for Adisa De Rosario. Smashed off the foot of what appeared to be Salo Livas at the top of the box. It's a loose ball and real threat. Shot coming, a brave block. And Philadelphia Union 2 starting to really assert some claim. Dominating the game. 10 minutes gone. Driven into a pocket of space for Anderson, who chests down. Anderson took too much time to get it off his foot. Daquan Barrow just doing his best to weave away, and does. Fleet of foot and a friendly set on the wide side at the touchline. Nate Edwards. All the way towards the end line and able to catch up in time. And the corner's coming, the first of the match. If anything, this will just ease some of the tenseness from Toronto as they had found themselves under barrage. As mentioned previous, both of these teams have something significant to look at in this game. The prospects and the perils of this time of year. Ball in. It's a useful one at the near post, and it's helped for a frame. It's a scare for Philadelphia Union 2, but nothing more. Both sides helping themselves to a chance on either end in the last couple of minutes. Union 2 have been a good run of form. Both teams have. Realistically, they have won in their last 3 games, having scored multiple goals in all 3. That comes after a real downtick. They had gone 4 games without claiming victory. And they charge into the area here. A ball that is nothing more than a fruitless chase, and a goal kick coming. But just in speaking on where Philadelphia Union 2 were and are, that little hiccup in their form allowed New York Red Bulls 2 to get out in front of them at the top of the table. This is a program that provides so much sturdiness and had all year, only having lost 2 games prior to that little drop-off. That opened up the door. Toronto FC2, meanwhile, have picked up so many points since the summer ended. Have been on an excellent streak, having secured 16 in their last 8 games. Done so with really good defensive work, but they are in serious threat right now, as that one is skipped rather pointlessly. Now for what will be another goal kick. In circulation, a risky touch, and forced into just flowing it wide, but doing so quite well is Mark Fisher. And now to the opposite ends. The top of the box, in behind, one-on-one with the keeper, and George Marks turns it away by all means necessary. Looked like it came off his face, but it does just about get worked out by the goalkeeper. Mad dash for a bouncing ball in behind. It was Michael Sullivan who found himself on the business end. And it's another corner for Hassan Ayari to really salivate over, this time an outswinger. Referee just dusting down the goalkeeper, making sure that bell isn't still ringing. Toronto in the first quarter hour have already manufactured 5 shots. Would love to have another on the end of this dead ball. And it is their creator-in-chief that casts a shadow over it. Hassan Ayari lifting it. He found his mark in the area. Unfortunately, the man that he found did not do the same thing. Looked like it was Mark Fisher who made the clean contact. Second time on 2 corners from Toronto FC2 that they've had in this game, in which they have been able to fashion a real chance. Neither of them actually testing the target. Turning free is Jordan Griffin, who's given it away to Nate Edwards, potentially costly so. Hoisted upfield by Adisa De Rosario. A dance from Sullivan. And not dancing to the same beat was his defender. He's been cut down. It's a free kick from a dangerous area coming. It could be, well, realistically is, a cheaply given away foul. Our referee will just have a conversation. Jordan Griffin, nothing more. Presiding is Hassan Ayari. 2 assists for him in the last 6 games. He is their skeleton key. As he tunes the ball into the box. Slightly overhit. Stojanovic. Now Nate Edwards. And nudging wide. Edwards presenting a run up field. Instead, it's Toronto FC2 dispossessed and a foul awarded. Uzcategui playing at field. Toronto FC 2 hustling and hounding to try and win it back, and they do. Barrow flushing wide for Osanayari, who catches up in stride and plays back in for Barrow, who breaks his shot wide. Looks like he may have taken a touch, but that's not the official ruling of the referee. It's another moment of significant danger. At some point, though, Toronto FC2 must cash in. They must be merciless in front of goal. There is an art in trying to make the most of these purple patches, if you will. The best teams always do. Really positive period of play with the ball for Toronto FC2. They've been unbothered by the pressing efforts of their opposition. Already having put together 7 shooting attempts in the course of the contest. Stojadinovic. Moved back by Mark Fisher. Itolo on the ball. And smartly picked out is Daquan Barrow, who sticks with. And Toronto FC2 strike out. These two teams well acquainted down the years all time. The series in MLS Next Pro is secured at 4 wins for each team with 3 draws in the middle, but they have been playing each other for much longer than that. Back in the USL Championship prior to this. Nearing 20 total contests between the clubs. And just for the bookkeeper, on that account, it is currently the 19th coming together of these teams. Only Oscar Benitez started the 3 games prior to the last one in which he came off the bench, a multifunctional defender, play outside back or center back as he's been deployed in today. Off the chest and into the area. At the first blush, it's turned away as well as the second. Jordan Griffin's second try was a little bit more venomous, but ultimately nothing too intolerable for this Toronto FC2 defense. Home side have had about 60% of the ball so far. Driving down the far flank. And into the area for a shot to be unleashed that's raked wide. Korzeniowski was the one who gave it a ride. 3 goals for him over the course of the last 2 games. Had a brace last time out against Chicago Fire 2. That big result for Union 2. Nearly the giveaway. Reflected wide to Yari. And now Toronto FC2 begin the pattern. Off the head of Barrow. Good bit of knockdown play. An even better tackle from Oscar Benitez. Nick Periano. And wide for Anderson. Jordan Griffin. On the spin. And springing wide for Griffin, who gets his ball in early. At the top of the box for Periano, who picks out Anderson, who has his pocket picked, but Periano has it back and pushes in a cross. Edwards was caught in a weird spot there. Does he make the choice to let it bounce or just do the low-risk thing and head it out of play? He takes option B, and it will be a corner kick. Philadelphia Union 2 have had the most corners in MLS Next Pro this year, so they will have had plenty of practice as they prep whatever they have routine and choreographed. An outswinger on tap. It's put into a dangerous area, but before any harm could be done, whistle ends the play. Still gridlocked, certainly gritty. Beyond halfway played in this first half. Tilting the field again. Philadelphia Union 2. And busted away by Itolo. Sometimes you need a center back to be no nonsense, and that was the case there. Burly Brazilian in the middle. A strong drive. And Adisa De Rosario has seen enough. He'll collapse on the ball and any move in the making. That's a risky ball. Always taking a chance, playing it back across your goal. But it does come good enough in the end. Michael Sullivan dropping back into midfield and adding that extra number. On the lineup card, he was tabbed as the second striker, the partner to Daquan Barrow, leading the line. But he has had a lot of freedom of motion, connecting things in all areas. Maybe a little bit closer to a 3-4-3, something somewhat fluid from Toronto FC2. Those pocket players of Yari and Sullivan and several others taking turns up there. And there is something to whet the appetite brewing for Toronto. Daquan Barrow's ball just comes clear of Nate Edwards. The referee has a think. And what's his choice? It appears by the celebration of those dressed in red, it will be a penalty for Toronto FC2. A winning of the whistle, crucially so, by Nate Edwards. A team that has drawn so few fouls this year, the fewest in the league, has drawn one in the area and a chance to draw themselves into the advantage. 27 minutes in from 12 yards. George Marks is the obstacle.
Yellow card issued in the 27th minute to Philadelphia's number 38, Giovanni Sequeira.
And so it is put on the back of the man for the moment, whose name is Mark Fisher. A yellow card was given to Sequeira. This portion of the match is presented by BMO, and it is a big portion at that. Mark Fisher steps to the spot, the oldest player in the squad at the start of the year. First year out of Stanford. Eye to eye with George Marks, who steps up, and he scores convincingly, convictedly. Mark Fisher throws Toronto FC2 ahead. And the game really starts now. First half hour drawing its final breath, and Mark Fisher punctures on the penalty.
Toronto FC goal scored in the 29th minute by number 72, Mark Fisher.
Big player, big spot. 1-0. So Toronto FC2 have secured the edge. What happens next? And this match week was always going to reveal almost everything heading into decision day. Stark lines being written in what has been a dramatic season in its final chapter. Stojanovic. Now Toronto FC2, can they expand the lead ahead of halftime? That's the real question. They've been the better of the two sides. Nate Edwards, who drew the penalty, drives one ahead. An escorting bit of defending in the back by Oscar Benitez. Keeps his composure and flips the field, but it will be a throw-in for Toronto FC2. On the build again, and bashing a ball in behind. The goalkeeper's out for it. Marks puts a head to it. Ayari on the second ball, and with too much thrust, he meets it and puts it out of play. That's a chance gone. Again, 1-0 is the score, having a malfunction with the score bug. Mark Fisher stepped up at the spot and scored without much cause for question after Nate Edwards drew the penalty. A collision, a clipping of the wings, and a foul is awarded. Periano, team's leader in minutes with now past 2,200 for the year. Just left the ball behind its intended place of landing, and with the good counter pressure, Philadelphia Union 2 will go again. A feisty bit of tackling, and one back well. Cross is caromed away. Still really jousting for it, Philadelphia Union 2, and in fact doing so with too much aggression. Really sterling bit of defending, stiffly headed back by Benitez. That puts Philadelphia Union 2 with a chance to eye the target. It's a chance short-lived. Another foul. It has had the kind of rough and tumble nature to it that you would expect with everything on the line for both these teams. Philadelphia Union 2, all they need to do today is get a single point and they secure at least a first-round home playoff game. Toronto FC2 would take a massive step to securing their playoff berth if they can secure victory in this one. Oh, that's a fabulous bit of tackling. And Ayari's waiting for it. A feathery first touch. Stojanovic mulling and scanning the scene. The goal scorer, Mark Fisher, hits hard off the foot. And as Hassan Ayari was wriggling in intricate pattern, it will be belted out of play off the foot of Sullivan. Good bit of interchange there from Toronto FC2. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ritz. Oscar Benitez. And once more, the word is foul. We are, at this point, up to a collection of 12 total between the teams. The imperative lies with the team on the ball. Did that take a touch off Nate Edwards? That's the question to be answered, and the question is answered yes. It's a corner kick of what looked like a fairly innocuous ball in behind. A corner has been won by Philadelphia Union 2. Closest that Philly 2 have come to goal over really the last quarter hour. Is there meaning in this for them? Sailed in, knuckle applied by Adisa De Rosario. Pariano and paved back wide and powering up the run at the end line, and at the last stitch, Toronto FC2 do not give way. No easy passage here. It will be another corner kick. Here it comes. There it goes. And denying the counterattack quite well is Nick Pariano. That's a lovely ball out of the back by Marks. Only on a drive. And Barrow back the other way. This is Daquan Barrow ducking by one. And standing tall. A one-man army as he continues to play with his back to goal. And with a bright mind. It was a terrific instance of what to do as that hold-up striker from Daquan Barrow, who now is running downhill. And he's got plenty of red shirts for company. One of them is Nate Edwards. Utillo. Mark Fisher. He is the one who has set the sides apart. His penalty coming in a crucial time for Toronto FC2. We are having some technical trouble with the scoreboard. But rest assured, it is the home team that has the slight edge that might still grow on this move ahead. Trying to pick out the pass as Yari was the spare man on the wide side. And stashed away. Stojanovic, the one who came screaming in. Player that's one of the most decorated in the history of this Toronto FC2 program. Marko Stojanovic. Plenty of seasoning in his time down the last couple of years. Winning all the second balls now, Toronto FC2. Even more impressive feat given their opposition. Philadelphia Union 2 have carved out their entire sense of identity around doing precisely that, winning all the fights, all the battles. They are not doing so in all meaningful ways here, both in between the four lines on the pitch and on the scoreboard. That's a clever little outside of the boot pass to Yari. Waiting to make his first big impact, and it won't come here. Never got his foot all the way around that one. It's been a fairly free-flowing first half. Can't imagine there will be too much stoppage time, as the board will certainly be calibrated now. Now for Philly, they can still secure that top four seed, even if they don't get anything from this one. In the event that Huntsville and Chicago unable to secure results in their respective games at the weekend. Chicago in action on Sunday against Atlanta United 2, which is a team that has pertinence to Toronto FC2. And if they do not get the win here today, they will still be able to clinch playoff results in the upcoming week. They need all 3 points today, though, to make that happen before the end of the weekend. Their scenario is that if Atlanta have 1 point or fewer and New York City FC2 have 2 points or fewer at the end of the weekend and Toronto get all 3, they have done what needs doing. And they will be in the postseason again this year. Sent spiraling a Yari in a gap. Hassani Yari in a battle that's won by Oscar Benitez, who's been terrific in this first 45. It stays in play somehow. A side-skipping deflection off the surface. back to the goalkeeper, Adisa De Rosario. As there's still just enough to shake it up before the half ends. Cut down. He was on course. The referee will say that the player went over without assistance from the defender, and it's a throw-in. Toronto SC2 have already posted more clean sheets this year than any season previous. At the closing stanza of this first half, they are on course so far to get another here today against one of the best scoring sides in MLS Next Pro in Philadelphia Union 2. Union 2 have been a really relentless team in front of goal this year. They are averaging the most shots on target of any team in the division, 7.2 per game. Nobody else is above 6.1 in the entire league. That has not been the case so far in this one. Quite the opposite, in fact. Nate Edwards is in. Marks reactionary enough to keep it at only 1-0. Stojadinovic slides it centrally. Itillo. Always patient with it. The 85 in red. Stojadinovic. Seen him mostly on this near side in the game. As confirmation comes, it will be 2 minutes of stoppage time. Oh, giveaway. And real trouble afoot. Shots coming, and Philadelphia find themselves back even. Stas Korchinowski pelts home a shot at point blank. And despite all the good work of Toronto, it turns on its head in the absolute last instance of the first half. That is the 7th time Korchinowski has put his foot to a ball that's found pay dirt in this 2025 season. The Pennsylvanians pounce at the very last moment of opportunity. Barrow unable to tame. That will feel so deflating for Toronto SC2, but they have not dropped their heads just yet. Barrow in pursuit. And again, it is 1-1, not 1-0. If there was any cause for concern as to whether or not Mark Fisher's penalty would stand the test of time, it has been counted just an error with our score bug tonight. Speeding towards the curtain fall in the intermission of the first half. Oscar Benitez. Uzcategui. And expiration. So it sits. It was 1-0. It is now 1-1 as we set to hit the break. This week we pay a visit with NYCFC, and let's start with manager Matt Pilkington. We asked Matt about his long tenure with the club and their philosophy in bringing along the great players of the next day in the Big Apple. Take a look.
fans, the ice cream truck is just around the corner and ready to serve up some sweet treats. Treat yourself to a delicious soft serve ice cream now available for noon, big one, and
Action!
I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. A jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Back from the break, and as mentioned, we have that feature on Matt Pilkington in the inside look on this NYCFC program. We'll visit with him. Maximo Carrizo.
Hi, my name is Maximo Carrizo. I'm a number 10 center attacking mid, and I play for NYCFC too.
Carrizo scores! Land ball out of the back, and it could be a chance here. And there's goal number 1, and it's Maximo Carrizo. It's going to be a chance for Carrizo! Maximo Carrizo with a beauty of a finish.
Carrizo's story begins at home. With parents from Argentina, he grew up in a household where soccer was a way of life.
Both my parents are from Argentina, so there was kind of no option. They're crazy fanatics for the game, and ever since I could walk, I just started kicking the ball with my dad, and it was definitely a big soccer house, and I think playing in the backyard every day with my brothers was something that really helped me develop and really gave me that love for the game.
That backyard passion became something bigger and would take him to NYCFC's academy.
I started playing for a local MLS Next team called FC Westchester. From there, I got scouted by NYCFC for the U12 team, and ever since then, I went through the whole academy till I was 14. Then I signed my first pro contract, having to sacrifice, obviously, family time, time with your friends, time with your family, but also something that I've learned is being mentally strong, that knowing it's not going to be a linear way up. There's going to be bumps along the way, and you just have to do your best to push through and not let anything get in the way of your success.
Carrizo's game reflects his roots, a dual identity that defines his style on the pitch.
I like to say I'm very attacking, very direct. I try to be the difference maker. I like to get goals, like to get assists, and I also like to lead on the field. The Argentine grit, I think, is definitely represented in the way that I play. Also I guess like the flashiness, the way that I dribble, the way that I look for passes is very Argentine, but then again, I also have the American, I guess, work rate and the never give up mentality.
That blend of talent and mentality led to history. In March 2022, Carrizo became the youngest player ever to sign a professional contract in Major League Soccer, a milestone years in the making.
I think it was obviously a surreal moment. I always knew that I was going to be a pro soccer player. I never expected it to be this early, but to have been able to accomplish that was just a big moment for me and my family.
Now, MLS NEXT Pro is sharpening his game, preparing him for the challenges of the top level and giving him moments to shine.
Yeah, I think NEXT Pro has been extremely helpful to my development, introducing me to the pro game and getting me used to the physicality of playing with older players.
Playing with Maxi is actually, like, it makes my job easier. Like, he'll find me. He's an exciting player, scores any assist, so he's an important player.
I think the most memorable moment was playing in our only playoff match with the second team. I think the environment, even though we didn't win, it was just a great experience to be able to compete with some of the best players in Next Pro.
The bad ball out of the back, and it could be a chance here, and there's goal number 1, and it's Maximo Carrizo.
And there is the opener, Maximo Carrizo, just 17, clinical finish with his left foot.
I've seen a massive shift in his maturity level and his understanding of his role within the team, even as a leadership role, you know, which is for such a young player is quite impressive. And he's been very impactful in the games with us this season. He's obviously had minutes with the first team and he's really pushing. So, you know, when he comes in, he has a real competitive drive. You know, he wants to win. So he raises the level, he raises the energy, raises the tempo, the expectations. You know, he's done really well so far with us this season and we've seen a lot of growth.
Beyond the club, Carrizo represents the U.S. Under-17 national team alongside other standouts in MLS Next Pro.
I think it means everything to be able to represent my country and my family on the international stage is something that everyone dreams of. I think it was a surreal feeling. I think when you see that jersey is when it first hits that you're really playing for your country and you're representing everyone back home, and it was just a great accomplishment for me and my family.
This season, Carrizo's journey reached another milestone, his Major League Soccer debut, alongside fellow homegrown Seymour Reed.
And now the changes for New York City, and Pascal Janssen will turn to a pair of 17-year-olds and says to them, help us get out of here with a result tonight. Seymour Reed and Maximo Carrizo will come into the match for New York City.
From the backyard to the bright lights of MLS, Maximo Carrizo is just beginning to write his story. For Matt Pilkington, leading New York City FC 2 isn't just about wins. It's about building players, shaping culture, and representing the city itself.
I got into coaching in an early age. I got into coaching while I was still playing, and it was always a passion. So something I've done for a long time. And then the pathway to NYCFC was when they were forming their academy. They were exploring options for different roles, different people. So I spoke with Claudio Reyna before the academy was established, and I knew it was a potential option if I continue to develop and continue to grow as a coach. And so I made the switch to the club around 10 years ago now.
His coaching is shaped by his own playing days and creating sessions that are as competitive as the matches themselves.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot from coaches, and I also learned what, as a player, I preferred, and try to impact that in how I coach to ensure that it's player-led and it's high energy, it's competitive. Lots of games involved, lots of action to goal. So, I try and really encourage to make the trainings as exciting for the players as possible, and just constantly try and find ways to innovate and challenge them. But ultimately, they want to compete, they want to learn, they want to play. So trying to encourage that as much as we can into our sessions, whilst develop them as players and whilst trying to create a methodology that aligns with our identity.
That identity carries over into the team's style of play: attacking, aggressive, and entertaining.
Yeah, I think we're very attack-minded. We want to control the ball as much as we can, and without the ball, we want to be aggressive. We want to defend high. We want to be brave in how we jump, and sometimes get into a man-to-man structure, and then ultimately control our defensive shape so that we can create opportunities and counter-attacks. So, to be quite versatile in our play in a variety of areas. And with the ball, looking to be creative, looking to progress, looking to create chances, score goals, create numerical advantages in situations that can allow us to do that. High tempo, we want to play with high tempo and intensity, and we want to make it exciting for the players to play within and the fans, the people watching, to enjoy the game.
For Pilkington, development means more than the 90 minutes. It's about building people as well as players.
Yeah, I think it's an important role. It's one we don't underestimate. It's not just in the training, but it's in the meetings. It's in how they function as individuals. We're trying to grow individuals as people as well as players. We put a lot of emphasis on the time we spend with them and trying to maximize as much as we can. We really stress them in the environment. We try and meet as much as we can. We try to do as many extras as we can. We're really trying to overload them with as much information as we can. And we realize these new generation of players, they're able to take on more, and they're very holistic in their learning. So we do a lot of individual meetings, unit meetings, team meetings. We do a lot of extra work on the field, a lot of extra work with certain individuals within the training. And we're constantly trying to push their development by stressing them as much as we can, increasing their load and their game understanding as the game evolves. So we have a great staff here who spend a lot of time off the field as well, in the gym, developing their individual physical states. The rehab side to get them fresh to go again. We really push the envelope in training. We try and train as much as we can, and a big part of it is how we piece that all together with the individual in mind, but the team dynamic. So everyone has kind of a different role within the team, and the objective is to push players through to the next level.
That philosophy also extends to team culture, one built and rooted in New York.
Yeah, I think we want to try and represent the city in how diverse we can be. So we have players from all kinds of different backgrounds. Historically, we've had the vast majority from the New York area. We pivoted a little bit this year with some draftees. We really look to recruit locally and to recruit from our academy and to bring players in. The culture identity of the team, I think, has to represent New York, so we're looking to do that as much as we can. And it's something that we're very much aware of, even with our academy, having players from different backgrounds, different parts of the city, different parts of New York and other surrounding states.
Even through ups and downs, the focus remains the same: growth.
Yeah, I think we've had our ups and downs, like a lot of teams. We have certain moments where we're really strong and really effective. We've had moments where we've struggled, maybe with a little bit of depth and some performances. So we're constantly having to push the guys, strive for more and push really the development side.
It's a philosophy forged over years, and one he'd share with his younger self.
Absorb as much information as possible, try as many new things, try different formations, different systems, put yourself in different environments to learn as much as you can, to study the game from an analytical point of view earlier, and just to try and create a whole package of what a coach needs to be in the modern game. Even the mental side of the game is quite important, the psychological side of the game. With the management of the team and leading a team, I think is more and more important these days.
Action.
Youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan. Luna. Yes! It's a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Into the second half we go. It is 1-1 between Toronto FC 2 and Philadelphia Union 2 as we engage you again From the Great White North of Toronto, Ontario, the first half was an exhilarating one as both sides manufactured chances in the early going. This one pressed just wide by Sal Olivas, then back the other way. Toronto FC2 getting one into the box and missing out on a near post flick on header. A penalty would be scored by Mark Fisher after this, as Toronto FC2 would first get this chance by way of Daquan Barrow, and then it would be Mark Fisher who stepped up and smashed home. But late on in that first half, Philadelphia Union 2, just before the end of it, would strike back even and get things back to level footing as we are back in action here in Toronto. The teams have switched sides. It was Stas Korzeniowski who scored for Philadelphia Union 2 right there at the death. Once more, I'm Peyton Gallagher. This is Toronto FC 2 and Philadelphia Union 2. It sits 1-1. Both teams are unchanged out of the intermission. And why would you? Either side has had their good moments, and Nate Edwards looking to add another. He drew the penalty in the first half. Contested by Oscar Benitez. Fortier guides high. Haven't called his name much, Timothy Fortier. Much of the play coming down what is now the far side of the field for Toronto FC2. Nate Edwards has had a really good year as that late spare arriver from the outside, being the unmarked man as he makes the second man run on crosses and the like. He scored 3 goals this year that way. And again, he drew the penalty in identical fashion to what has worked for him all year long. George Marks on the ball. George Marks in goal today for Ryan Richter. They have had 3 separate goalkeepers that have posted a clean sheet this year, Philadelphia Union 2. Marks is not one of them. That will not happen today, as they were hit in the first half from the penalty spot. Mark Fisher, the one scoring. It was nearly a dangerous ball in behind, but it's picked off on its way there. It was Fisher again who stepped in. He's on the ball here. Heavy touch and hammered out of play. Looked like it was Timothy Fortier who left it dangling, the 16-year-old out of the academy, making his 7th start on the year today in midfield. Slung in behind, some defending to do, and it is done. Second ball is won by Hassani Yari, who has a loose first touch. That's out for a Philadelphia Union 2 throw. Toronto FC2 have only lost 1 match this year when they have been the first team to score in this venue, or any venue for that matter. 8 of their 10 wins have come when they have been the ones setting the pace. 3 draws and that lone defeat. They scored first in the last meeting between these two teams. In fact, that goal came 3 minutes in. Anthony Bosenberry, the one who broke through on that day. A game that would be a wild back and forth that saw Toronto FC2 prevailing in the shootout. Stefan Kapoor stepping up from center back, and he may be cut out here. Nate Edwards walling off any chance of a counterattack. Toronto holding a slight edge in terms of the possession. 52.5% so far. But useful with the ball right here. Philadelphia Union 2. Spread all the way wide. Ball coming. A chance at the header. First hits off the crossbar there, as Marcus Anderson was the one crashing. Took a weird hop off the woodwork. Disa De Rosario pinned into his own goal, and it never looked like he really had the reading of the flight of that ball. On the turn, it's a good turn. Periano. And plastered all the way wide. Jordan Griffin's cross. Neat and tidy defensively. Off the head of Daquan Barrow. Philadelphia Union 2 starting to raise their hackles a bit. Sequeira lost the plot. Giovanni Sequeira losing that effort from distance. He didn't play in the last game. Did have an assist in his most recent outing against Chicago, though. It was a heavily contested first half. Philadelphia Union 2 committed 10 fouls in that frame. They've committed their first of the second half now. Only shot on target from the roadside is the one that found the soft underbelly of this Toronto SC2 defense. Asana Yari speeding away and doing so with a head start. Heavy first touch puts the ball in jeopardy. Well worked out by Giovanni Sequeira. And smoothly wide for Jordan Griffin, who gets it forward. A growing influence in the game. Korzianowski unable to make anything stick there, but a great tackle to take it back. Tracked down by Oscar Benitez. Sequeira stumbling into the final third. Periano. Sent skying in towards the area. Banged away by Fisher. That's a throw-in for Toronto FC2. If the result holds, it will be a happy one for the roadside. And if they are pursuing a home playoff game, which assuredly they are, that would get the job done without depending on other results elsewhere. That being said, it would put them at a big disadvantage in terms of trying to chase down that #1 overall seed in the East. Just behind New York Red Bulls 2. The team that Toronto SC2 will see on the final day. Into the half space and uncorking a shot that conjures a save out of Adisa De Rosario. Didn't look like he saw it until the very last moment as he helps it over the bar. Kellen LeBlanc has not been able to put his fingerprints on the game much so far, but he scored for Toronto in the most recent meeting between the two teams this year. He nearly scored again there. In fact, he scored on his first pro start against this very same Toronto outfit. Kellen LeBlanc did. Ball in, headed towards goal. And despite a raising of the heart rate, it is nothing more than a goal kick. running at full speed. And it's a bad ball off the foot. That was Bostonberry that couldn't find the right way to pass. Kapoor. Utolo. Bodies back behind the ball for Philadelphia Union 2. That's a speculative inquiry in behind. Sanayari will just about get there and lose his balance on the last step. Ten minutes gone in this first half, and nothing really to write home about. Second half, I should say. Was that one save off of Kellen LeBlanc by Adisa de Rosario. Nothing beyond that. Stas Korshanyovsky, the goal scorer for Philadelphia Union 2. His fourth goal in the last 3 games, getting hot at the right time. Mark Fisher striking from the spot for what was his first goal of the season for Toronto SC2. Appealing run in behind and an excellently weighted ball. Korshanyovsky, a dancing bear with it at feet. Heavy touch from Periano. Excellent defensive work by Daquan Barrow. Advantage being played. Periano parrying wide. Marcus Anderson. And towards the corner. Periano connecting the dots. Driving in a deep cross. Toronto FC2 electing to build through the pressure and out from the back. And that proves a imprudent decision. Periano gaining it back. Carving in a cross, it falls kindly, still free, and floated away. There was a foul before it got all the way back across frame in the goal mouth. Kind of unthinkable that Philadelphia Union 2 did not at least muster a real chance on target there. Adisa de Rosario, despite the fact that he would have had plenty of anxiety, didn't even have to make a save there. Nate Edwards, Daquan Barrow, unable to pivot free, and it looks like he may have caught the visage of Oscar Benitez, trailing hands after a real physical fight for it. Referee is just trying to simmer tensions. Nicholas Milita is the one that is keeping all the accords of the game with the whistle in hands. Adisa de Rosario on a driven and direct ball in behind, at least exploring the space. George Marks will snap it up. Itillo. Strongly and sternly out of the back and steering centrally. Shot from range, and it's rifled wide. By the way, this portion of the match is brought to you by MasterCard. Wonder when both coaches might look into their dugout and try and shift what's turned into a real stalemate. The deadlock might be broken with Philadelphia Union 2 approaching the area. Ball hanging high, headed towards goal. Adisa De Rosario turns it away. A powerful parry from the goalkeeper that has been so good this year. A big-time stop, with the alarm bells certainly sounding. So it's a warning shot from Philadelphia Union 2, who have had the better run of play. Just starting to tick into the real significant minutes of this second half. Benitez, tails up for Philly. Cross is beautifully played and just missed hit at the last action. At the end line, Toronto FC 2 just trying to get to the end of this round. Leaning on the ropes. Ducking free. Oh, that's lovely stuff from Sequeira, who gets it back. His cross comes just off the head of the last defender. Looked like Stojadinovic, who nodded away the threat. Lucas Olguin as well as Micah Chisholm being prepped at the touch line. The cross rifled in and rocked across frame. And is this the moment the substitutions happen? Certainly looks that way. And here comes Lucas Olguin, who will make his 23rd appearance of the year. Led the club in that department last season, making 27. Well over 50 appearances for his career at this point. Micah Chisholm is the other insertion. Timothy Fortier making the spot.
Substitution for Toronto FC in the 64th minute. Leading the game, number 61, Timothy Fortier. And number 98, Stephen Kapoor.
From the wide space, on a long and twisting run.
And by number 68,
Kellen LeBlanc gets a dainty delivery and dodged for now. Steadied wide for Sequeira, who studies the scene. Benitez, rhythmic play on the ball from Philly. Hammered into the box, a high rise at the near post, and a whole bunch of bodies hit the floor. It comes all the way through to Nate Edwards. Toronto need to just get a foot on it, if anything, to take some of the air out of the ball. Some words of encouragement showering down from the crowd. They have kept their nerve to date for Toronto FC2, who had the lead early on in this game and lost it just ahead of halftime. sieged in the second half so far. Daquan Barrow went straight away, trying to widen the play out for Asani Yari. Never got there. Philadelphia Union to set about in another attacking sequence. Scooped up at the touchline and losing his footing, in fact, was Giovanni Sacchetta. But he looked like he had done about as well as you could have asked and won a throw, but instead it will be a throw-in for Toronto FC2, and if anything, a chance for them to make their first change of the game. And it will be a double swap. William Ferreira, the first of those two changes, is he is joined by a man that will conjure some fear in the heart of Toronto FC2, Malik Jakupovic, who has changed games as if it is his one and only vocation this year off the bench. 8 goals for him on the season, and that has almost universally come in reserve duty. A 16-year-old with 8 goals on the year. Asani Yari the other way, though, and he's got someone in the sidecar. Unable to settle, though, and George Marks is quick off his line. There's Daquan Barrow, who was on the left hip of Asani Yari. Undeterred, Philadelphia Union 2. As mentioned previous, they will get something from this game with any kind of result. If this holds, job done, home playoff game. But they have loftier aspirations of winning the Eastern Conference regular season. To do that, not only will they need to give Toronto FC2 extra incentive to play that extra little bit harder on the final day, which would be the case if this result stays where it is, because that opposition is the one that is in direct competition with the team that fires the ball into the back post here and gets a corner. New York Red Bulls 2 is the one that is just out in front of Philadelphia Union 2. Will either chance at securing all 3 points potentially with a lead-giving goal from this corner kick. And again, Toronto FC2 will see New York Red Bulls 2 on the final day. Toronto FC2, in fact, as this portion of the match comes to you by way of BMO, have seen all 3 of the top 3 seeds in their final 4 games of the season, having already played New England Revolution 2 prior to today. Corner coming, within swing, Adisa De Rosario fumbles it away at the first blush, but has enough time to reconcile things. And it was Sal Olivas that got the hook. So Jakupovic could step in out of Sterling Heights, Michigan. He has had a sterling debut campaign. He had a brace in the first meeting with Toronto FC2 this year. It was a rampage out of the gate for Jakupovic, scoring 6 goals in his first 5 games. He's only scored 2 goals since, though. Doing some defending now. Well covered defensively by Jordan Griffin. Attempted to turn the corner there and is shrugged over. 70 minutes into this game. Inseparable the sides, 1-1. Tidy twists to keep it. Wojciechowski. Benitez. Throwing all the way to the wide side. A huge collision advantage looked like it might present, but the referee was going to go for the pocket. And that could not wait. Nate Edwards, you could hear the exact degree of that bit of tackling. And that is why you wear shin guards. Nate Edwards in the book. 71 minutes gone in this game. The winner of this game has scored multiple goals on 7 of the last 8 occasions. That will be the requirement if anybody is to get all 3 points today. Union 2 might have a really good chance here out of the set piece. Prepped and ready. Free kick on tap. Kellen LeBlanc as well as CJ Olney. Both with devious ideas hatching their plan. It looks like it belongs to LeBlanc, who lunges a ball in. There are big bodies in the box. Main man of target, Rusjanowski, but it never gets there. Toronto stiff and sturdy defensively. Philly 2 might be set to make another change. Youngster Jameer Johnson bouncing and beaming to get into the game. Toronto FC2 still on the hook. Kellen LeBlanc. And overhits in his effort to get it into a peeling run from Periano. The task feels taller right now for Toronto. The field is turned against them. They've been running uphill all throughout this first portion of the second half. Philadelphia Union 2 have just effectively freshened up their team. Fresh dogs for the Hunts. Powered away by Adisa De Rosario. DeQuan Barrow, who had a real foothold on that first half. Much less of that strong points at the front so far in this second act. Heading, if not hurrying, towards the final 15 minutes of the game. Toronto's grip loosened just there at the end of the second half, and the first half, I should say, and Philadelphia Union 2 have not looked back from that point on. Infield. Stojadinovic drifting a ball in behind. It skips away. Again, George Marks is alive to any danger. Coming well off his line to meet it just as it entered the area. Reed Fisher as well as Costa Iliadis up in, being warmed right now on the Toronto touchline. Periano puts his foot through it and plays wide. Carving into the box. The shot is sent stinging high.
Substitution for Philadelphia in the 76th minute. Leading the game is number 47, Kellen LeBlanc. He is replaced by number 62, Jameer Johnson.
And there is Jameer Johnson. Only one appearance for him in the last 4 games. He did score on that day against Columbus. Been party to the U.S. Youth National Team setup in the recent days as well. Starting the month off in the Netherlands, training with the U17 squad in their training camp. This portion of the match is presented by LG. And the changes for Toronto FC2 made on this moment as well. As mentioned, it will be Reed Fisher stepping in. As well as Costa Iliadis. 16 times prior to this game he's come off the bench, and you can make it a 17th.
Toronto FC in the 77th minute. Leading the game is number 25, Nathaniel Edwards.
And it looks like Nate Edwards, who drew the penalty, is the one who makes the spot. Micah Chisholm will step out wide to wing back.
And by number 87, Costa Iliadis.
Day done for Anthony Bosenberry as well. Toronto have been back against the wall the entirety of this second half. Running out of ways to say it. Trying to liven things up late. Gianni Cimini. Toronto entering today with only 1 loss in the last 5 games. They were playing on a good footing early as they got the goal as a reward for a really good passage of play for them. Unable to get that second moments of real intrigue, though. When you leave a team as good as Philadelphia Union 2 still drawing breath, always putting yourself in a position to get pegged back, and that's exactly what happened just ahead of the end of the first half. Now, if it concludes this game where it currently stands, it will go to the shootout to decide who gets the extra point. Toronto had been really struggling in those settings for what had been really over a year. They had only won 1 of 13 penalty shootouts, but they have won their last 2. Breaking up that downtick in their proficiency from the penalty spot. Driving in field, Jameer Johnson. Now he steps it wide. The ball comes screaming across the box and settled at the top of the area. It's blocked on its way through. Daquan Barrow digging in. Not even he can get away of all 3 of those Union 2 defenders. Now Jameer Johnson. Adisa De Rosario with a stymieing touch. Gluey gloves from him. Chisholm releasing the ball quickly, and a drag back and a whistle to come. Looks like it might just be, referee was grabbing at the pocket, now he goes into the pocket. Yellow card looks like it's towards a Toronto player. And in fact, it is. Micah Chisholm, maybe for some words said after the fact, goes in the book. But it is a Toronto FC2 free kick.
Yellow card issued in the 80th minute to Toronto FC number 73, Micah Chisholm.
Itolo Spinning their wheels, Toronto FC2, and another giveaway. Just been sloppy with it. On his horse to try and catch up. And failing to do so is Jordan Griffin. Catapulted back in play. It looked like there was a shove, and in fact there was. Ten minutes remain. Just a little less than. Sprayed in towards the goal. Helped down by Benitez. Still with Union 2. A probing effort. Jakupovic, who's been quiet so far, will keep it on. So there for Philly 2 after a near disaster. Two players coming together at full speed. Really heartful effort to try and win it back by, it looked like, Hassani Yari. Building up to maybe burst the pipe. Philadelphia Union 2. Heaps of pressure in the second half as that second half speeds towards its expiration. Periano. Oscar Benitez. Sequeira. Down in the area. Toronto trying to clean up. The shot comes off ahead. De Rosario is scrambling and does not get there ahead of the end line. Oscar Benitez, who's been so good in the game, up from the back ahead of this corner. A lot of tall targets to aim at. Korzeniowski is 6'4". Jakupovic is 6'3". Oscar Benitez, 6'1", over 6 foot as well. He's up at the top of the box. An in-swinging corner at the last phase. Benitez bashes through and breaks the deadlock. Oscar Benitez through the breach. And a goal to the good now. The bell rings, a Liberty Bell rings for Philadelphia Union 2, who liberate themselves from an even tie. Snatched up by Oscar Benitez, who had the runway on the corner.
Philadelphia goal scored in the 86th minute by number 36, Oscar Benitez.
And not to be turned away. He has been terrific defensively. He takes it into his own hands, and from a goal down, Philadelphia Union 2 show you precisely why they are square dead in the race for the number 1 seed. It's all to do for Toronto FC2 now. Only one time this year have Toronto FC2 scored first and failed to get at least a point. This would put their playoff lives in serious jeopardy. They were in the driver's seat entering today, but the road gets much more prickly. They do fail to get something from this. Stepping in to win it. How does Philadelphia Union 2's posture change in this final phase? That's the question. Sekera unable to get himself untangled from Itolo. One last change to be made. It looks like coming up for Ryan Richter. Final instructions being given. Brought down well. Jameer Johnson. A bellowing block. All the way back. Marks recovers it and rails it away for a throw. And a loss of focus.
Substitution for Philadelphia.
And here comes the change.
Number 37, Stas Kojanowski. He was replaced by number 45.
Leandro Soria steps in. It's his department. He leads the team in substitute appearances. That's his 14th. Philadelphia Union 2 trying to carry it across the line now. Oscar Benitez, the one who put them a nose in front of their opposition just moments ago. Board is being charged as we speak. Prove it time in Toronto. And proving difficult to get the ball off of the home team. And in saying that, it is a rudderless ball in behind that gives it back to Philadelphia Union 2, who will extract as much of these precious seconds as they can before actually playing the sport. Everybody sent far afield by Marks, who just puts it at his own feet. That's just so smart. A help-on header that's clutched by Adisa De Rosario. Tick, tick, tick. Getting late early. Toronto have not put a shot on target in this half. Had 3 in the first half. Down by Jameer Johnson. And jabbing it down the line. Sekera with plenty of avenue in front of him. The ball is a bit biteless, and Akupovic unable to make it stick. Toronto 2 just can't even get a touch of it right now. Sekera, no reason to give it away, but he has, but it's been won right back. Connecting the dots here, Philadelphia Union 2. It's one-touch stuff, as snappy as it's been all game. Finally, failing moments. Periano nearly won it back. Barrow blows by Benitez, and first question that does not really do much to trouble Philadelphia Union 2. What is the word? 3 minutes of stoppage time. Sent sailing Sakura. A soft touch, and now in the half space, Jameer Johnson. Oh, it's well weighted. It's in tune, in phase, and off target. Jakupovic had the opposition at his mercy and could not usher in the final blow. See if that proves costly. If there is any Toronto late drama, you want to dog ear that moment and that miss. They played the role of passenger, the side in red, this entire second half of play. Called out of their shell. And not getting very far there. Jameer Johnson. He was yanked back. A foul is given. Micah Chisholm has to be careful. He's already sitting on a caution. Bit fortunate there. Doggedly, if not desperately, Toronto FC2 prowling into the attacking half. Sloping downfield. Chisholm into the final minute. Patrick McDonald, he's giving the ball away. Trouble afoot as it's advanced towards the corner by Sakura. Snuck away from his custody. All the bodies forward for Toronto FC2, making a run into the box. A final intervention. Barrow's onto it. Still to Quan Barrow. Wide for Chisholm. A clear look at goal. It's hit the post. It hits the post. But it took a deflection on its track. Chisholm took an extra touch. Was able to muster a real chance, but this is the final of final actions for Toronto FC2 on this penultimate day of the Next Pro season. The goalkeeper's up. It's 2-1. The corner comes. Knocked across goal and over the frame. And across the line. Union 2 take the day. It didn't start their way, but in a performance that's perfumed in the musk of grit and determination. The roadside rollicking at the ends. Oscar Benitez, the man for the moment, as he steps up and saves it late. And Toronto taking the task on their home patch here today. The man of the match is Oscar Benitez. What a game it was. Our entire lovely cast and crew here at MLS Next Pro. Folks, I have been Peyton Gallagher. MLS Next Pro season continues towards its close on Decision Day, coming to you next weekend. But for now, we say goodbye from Toronto, Ontario, where Philadelphia Union 2 remain in the hunt for a chance at the #1 overall seed at the expense of Toronto FC2.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.